Howdy folks, I'm Darren.
I'm Susan.
And welcome to Cross Timbers Outside. We are finally camping. We're finally bringing a video of camping. All through early part of March and April crappie fishing videos, I promised to bring y'all along with us on some camping trips. And this is our second trip of the year. It's a Monday and we are at Warrior Creek Campground in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. This is a nice
Phenomenal
campground. It's very spread out, and a lot of the campsites here are very private. Most of the campsites are easy to get into, to back your rig into if you have a camper. They have tent sites and RV sites. I think about all the sites have hookup, electric and water.
I think there's maybe 6 that are primitive.
Yes.
Nothing.
That are, and I think those are tent sites.
Yeah, but there are some tent sites that have at least water hookup.
Yes, and power.
And, yeah, maybe.
A couple of them had power, yeah. So the site we're in, we do have 30 amp power and water hookup. We just do not have black tank hookup for you know your black tank to dump. So, but they do have 2 dump stations in the campground. It's, you know, you can dump when needed to. So, man, I can't believe how loud the cicadas are. Can you hear them?
I'm sure they can. It's like a siren going off.
But we got here about 3 o'clock, a little bit before 3.
Yeah.
And we were set up within, you know, no time, and had the camper set up. We got a really nice site here to camp. We're gonna be here camping for
3 nights.
3 nights and 4 days. And we're gonna enjoy our time away from all the hustle and bustle. We are on a lake here. This campground is on a lake. It is on W. Kerr Scott Reservoir. Mm-hmm. And some of the campsites are lakefront, but most of them are not.
Yep.
But there is access here everywhere to the water. If you want to just fish from the bank, which I'm probably going to do a little bit of tomorrow. If you want to fish from the bank, if you want to fish from piers, they have some fishing piers. They have a boat ramp here in the campground. I mean, it's a nice facility. This is one of 3 Army Corps of Engineer campgrounds on W. Kerr Scott Lake. There's this one called Warriors Creek. There's also one called Bandit's Roost. And the third one is called Fort Hamby. And we will be going to Fort Hamby and camping.
In about a month.
Yeah, in about a month.
About a month. So
this will be our first camping trip this year in this area. Well, actually, this is our first time in this campground at Warriors Creek ever.
Or on this reservoir.
Yeah, or on this reservoir.
We've never camped in this area.
The campgrounds in our area up in the mountains are almost all of them completely closed for the whole year. Hurricane Helene destroyed most of the campgrounds. And they're all closed, so we've had to come out of the mountains to find somewhere to camp. And this is the foothills. You can still see some mountains in the distance around here and everything, but you're not actually in the mountains like we are where we live. And we're just going to enjoy this week. Susan's brought her bicycle. Can you believe that?
Woohoo!
She's brought her metal detector, and I brought a fishing rod and some bluegill baits. We're just going to enjoy this week. I may put me up a hammock between 2 trees and sleep half the day. Glad to have you with us.
Supper time. And today, being a travel day, we always do something simple. Traditionally, the first night camping, we always have chicken salad, but I didn't feel like making chicken salad. Tonight we're having pizza bites. And I made a dessert. I'll post the recipe. It's called Peach Crisp. All it is crumbled up graham crackers, 2 packets of instant oatmeal and a can of peaches with the juice, a little bit of walnut, cinnamon, and actually I use pecans instead of walnuts, and some butter. So supper's on the grill. We'll check it a little bit. It'll be about 10 or 15 minutes and we'll eat a quick supper. Nice, relaxing evening.
Them's good.
Good. Camping food doesn't have to be difficult.
No.
Sometimes simple is better. Quick and easy.
I agree.
We have a 2-burner cooktop in the camper and a microwave, but I don't want to cook in there. I mean, I've made coffee. We've heated some stuff in the microwave, but I'd rather cook over the fire.
Yeah. Well, if you're making stuff that smells, it's really smelly, like bacon or something, you don't want to cook that in a small camper if you can help it, because that smell will
Permeate the walls.
Yes, it'll permeate the walls, and everything in there will smell like bacon. And while bacon smells good, if you smell it all the time, you'll get to where you don't like the smell.
Want some ranch dressing for these? I know one thing, that peach crisp smells really good.
It does. Good morning, folks. We had a good night last night, a restful night. We're up this morning, got our morning cup of coffee. Went out a little bit earlier and got a fire going. We had a very restful night and an enjoyable night. There's nothing better to start your morning off with a good cup of strong black coffee made in a percolator, old-timey percolator. All right, I think Susan's out getting breakfast ready. Susan gets up with the birds every morning. She's an early riser. I mean, early riser. I like to think I get up fairly early in the mornings, but she beats me every morning. She's up usually before it's even dawn. So let's head out. I think she's getting breakfast going.
Good morning. Time for breakfast. One of the joys of camping is you don't have a schedule. You can just do what you do when you want to do it. But this morning we're having a simple breakfast. I'm just heating some frozen hash browns, and we're going to heat up some frozen burritos. Sometimes we make these from scratch, but I just bought these pre-made. They're actually pretty good. That's what we're doing this morning. Simple and easy.
That is a fantastic little stove, ain't it?
We have had that stove, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years. And you can look at it and see. I mean, we've kept it clean, but it's seen its better days. But I will say this is what kept us alive during Helene.
Yeah, hurricane. We use this thing multiple times a day, every day.
Yeah.
We really like our little 16 FB Cadet Clipper camper. Perfect for 2 people. It's too small for a family, but for 1 or 2 people, this thing is fantastic. A couples camper, awesome.
forgot my spatula. I don't really like using metal on my cast iron, but I forgot my silicone spatula, so I'll have to gently use this one. I don't like metal on cast iron because it can scratch it if you're rough with it, so I'll just be gentle. Look how crispy this cast iron gets these hash browns. If the chef can turn them correctly. And I will say this cast iron skillet is one of the best things we've purchased in the last several years. I have two sizes. This one is the one I use the most. It's perfect for two people.
It's kind of like a flat iron.
Yeah.
A flat
it's
skillet.
It's a round griddle. Well, not a grill pan. It doesn't have the lines like a grill would. I'm trying to remember what Lodge even calls it.
I think they just call it a griddle pan.
Griddle pan, maybe. But yeah, it's perfect. It makes wonderful pancakes, fried eggs, omelets, grilled cheese,
it does.
anything that you don't need a deep rim for. It's perfect. Fajitas. We just added a little salt and garlic powder and actually put a little cayenne on these this morning.
Nothing like a good morning campfire.
We don't have a freezer in our camper, we just have a fridge. Anytime we go camping, we've done this even tent camping through the years when our kids were small, I bring things frozen, and that way kind of stagger your meals. You bring it frozen, and by the time you're ready to use it out of the cooler, it's basically to refrigerated temperature, and then it just makes cooking simple. Camping and eating, it's what you look forward to.
Yes.
But camp cooking does not have to be hard. You could go camping without even taking a cooler if you take the right things. But that's boring sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's boring. Well, who wants ramen noodles and
beanie weenies out of a can?
Or
Yeah.
Danish sausages. But
Which I love beanie weenies in a
we do
can.
too, and we actually have some with us that we may have for lunch.
I love
one day.
them.
But it doesn't have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes just a little prep work before you get here makes things at the campsite easier. Again, these are frozen burritos, frozen hash browns. Just heat it up on the grill. Quick and easy.
And good.
And I alluded to last night that we traditionally have chicken salad the first night we're camping. I usually prepare that ahead of time, but to be honest, I just didn't want to do it this time. This trip was a little, not unplanned, but kind of last minute. Usually at home though, I plan my meals for the week. And what we're doing this week is we had the frozen bagel pizza bite things last night. And we're having, frozen breakfast this morning. For dinner tonight, I'll fix hamburgers, and I'm going to fix enough hamburgers tonight for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, I'm making biscuits and gravy. I've already pre-cooked the biscuits at home. Now, I've done biscuits over the campfire.
Oh yeah, many
sometime.
times.
The fact that I'm working this week while we're camping kind of led me to do things a little more simplistic. But we're having biscuits and gravy and eggs, sausage, and then I've got enough biscuits that I brought from home already cooked that Thursday morning we will just have sausage biscuits that we can just heat up. So no cooking really Thursday morning. Prepare ahead. Little tips and tricks. I already have the vegetables prepared for the hamburgers tonight at home. The lettuce is chopped and in a baggie. The onions are chopped and in a baggie. I didn't chop the tomato because I'm particular about my tomatoes. The slaw is already ready. All I have to do is add the mayonnaise, the dressing to it. Things like that, just doing simple things at home to prepare before you get here.
Those smell good.
They do. Sometimes we'll have like omelet cups. We'll make those sometimes. But really, my advice is plan your camping trip, your meals, so that, and do this at home just in your regular life too. Plan meals that build off of each other. Again, like breakfast tomorrow, we'll feed breakfast Thursday as well. Dinner tonight, we'll feed lunch tomorrow. Basically tonight, all we have to do is mix up the broccoli slaw and grill the burgers.
Yep.
And we're good. So.
Yeah, and you can eat like a king camping and not have to do a lot of work.
Like that for these. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. We thank you for this food and for all your many blessings. We just ask that you would help us to continue to enjoy our time, and just thank you again for blessing us with these opportunities. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Hash browns are good. I like crispy hash browns.
I do too. I don't like mushy hash browns.
No, I think I like hash brown patties, unless we're doing like hash brown casserole. I like hash brown patties better than hash brown hash.
Some people smother their hash browns with ketchup.
I have ketchup if you want it.
Goodness gracious, these cicadas are loud today. About dusk, they quieten down. During the day, they're as loud as ever. This is kind of far apart.
Well, you don't want it too close together, do you?
I ain't even close.
That was closer. Yeah, you might need to stand and knock it from going into the woods.
You have to put a little more horsepower behind it. Okay, I'm gonna move this one about 2 steps closer.
Okay.
That's tough. You might throw them all day long and never hit one. That distance.
Got to put a little more oomph into it.
All right, the longer this goes on, I'm gonna move it 1 step closer.
Oh!
Hey, first throw. Still not easy, even at this distance.
It's like a carnival game. Whoops! See, you had my.
You had your distance.
Distance down, and now.
Like Gus McCrae, you was getting your range.
Just getting my range. And then my target went and moved. All right, you got 1, I got 0. For the time.
This ring toss game is not easy.
I don't have a clue what the rules are.
That
Finally.
was
Finally.
one. Ooh, almost 2. There it is. Winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ah.
Okay. Susan is the ring toss champion for the day.
For the day. Well, that was fun. Next, we need cornhole boards, though, I think. Whew, it's hot this evening. As promised, burgers.
Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers, but it was too hot to do them over the campfire, so we got the trusty old. Is this actually a Coleman brand, or
No,
is this an
it's not.
Ozark, like an off brand?
Yeah, it's an off brand.
Best camp stove we've ever had.
And we have owned a Coleman stove, and this is just as good, if not better.
And we've had it. pretty long time.
Oh yeah, 20 years. I don't even know what brand it is.
I don't know, but we've had it a long time and it's been a good one. So tonight we're just having cheeseburgers. At home I got the lettuce and onion pre-cut. The only thing I had to do here at camp was cut the tomato just because I didn't want it to get soggy. And prepare the burgers. We have chips and we have broccoli salad.
Yum. Susan has all the fixings prepared.
I forgot pickles.
Do what?
I forgot pickles.
That'll be okay.
For you, maybe. I do like a pickle on my burger.
And the weather forecast is saying severe storms tonight. The possibility. They're saying 80% chance of rain, but the possibility of some severe thunderstorms rolling through. So before bed tonight, before we retire to our camper, we're going to batten down the hatches. Everything that's out is going to be put up, and the awning on our camper rolled in, and just prepared for bad weather. Chairs put in the back of the truck, stuff like that. Well, good morning. I hope you can hear me over these cicadas roaring. It's a roar here this morning. This is our third day camping on this trip. And I'm sitting by the fire, got the fire rolling, and, well, not rolling. We maintain just a really small fire through the day, just to warm things on and stuff like that, and to enjoy. So we just barely keep it burning through the day, and at night we'll build it up to have a nice fire to sit by. But it was an eventful night last night. Boy, did we get some rain here. We had a line of storms come through. We had to batten down the hatches. We took in all of our chairs, everything outside, got it stored, and made sure everything was ready for some wind and pouring rain, and it did. I don't know how much, but it poured the rain last night. Made for good sleeping weather. But we're up this morning, early this morning, and got cleaned up for the day and sit down with a cup of coffee. And Susan's over here just to my left cooking breakfast. She's fixing sausage, fried eggs, biscuits, and gravy. Wow. She's hard at work while I'm sitting here in my chair by the fire enjoying coffee. And hallelujah, that's some stout coffee. Folks, I left the coffee perking a little too long. Boy, it made some strong coffee. But that's okay, I like strong coffee. Susan's making sausage gravy. The sun's out this fine morning after all that rain.
That's it, breakfast is ready.
Folks, I want you to see what a huge campsite this is and how secluded for a campground. Again, this is Army Corps Engineers Campground, Warrior Creek. This is the site me and Susan's been staying in for the last several days. And this site is huge. As you can see, there is not another campsite in sight. If you go down our driveway, there's some right there. But this one up on this knoll, and it's level up on top of this hill. And there's Susan's beach cruiser, or in this case, a mountain cruiser. Look how big this site is. Two lantern posts, a grill, picnic table, fire pit. I mean, it's huge. And 30 and 50 amp electric, water hookup. As you can see, we're hooked up. The only hookup you don't have is sewer, but they do have 2 dump stations here in the campground. Okay, this is like a drive pull-through site. It has 2 entrances to it. Here is the other entrance. And you can see the main roads are paved. And we are in site number 22. And we are here mid-May through the middle of the week, and there's basically nobody here. We've had this whole campground, or this whole loop, almost to ourselves. And the young lady that works here, the park attendant, she comes by about once a day making her rounds, and you could not ask for anybody to be any friendlier. Now, if we could get her to get rid of these cicadas, we'd be okay. The campsite here is absolutely phenomenal. I must say, this is probably one of the best campsites we've ever stayed in a campground. Now, this is not an RV park. You're not going to have, you know, swimming pools and putt-putt courses and all that stuff. If you like peace and quiet and to be out in the woods, if you're like us, we don't want to go to an RV park. We have no desire to stay in RV parks. We'd rather be in Forest Service campgrounds, National Park Service campgrounds, state park campgrounds, U.S. Forest Service, Army Corps of Engineers, these type campgrounds. Yeah, they may have electric and water hookup, but they're more of a, would you say, woods setting. You don't feel like you're at an amusement park. You're actually somewhere in the woods camping. And I must say, Warriors Creek Campground here, Army Corps of Engineers, is a fantastic campground. This is our first time staying here, and I can guarantee this is not going to be our last. Our last evening camping. We'll be heading out in the morning.
Well, I'd stay again if you'd let me. I got enough food.
Well, we got obligations, so tonight's our last night. And I tell you what, Warrior Creek Campground, it's an Army Corps of Engineer campground. On a scale of 1 to 10, being the site's big and spacious, private, good paved roads throughout the campground, and staff friendliness.
Oh, yeah.
What would you rate this campground at? on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being
The best,
the
like
best.
like 0, nothing wrong. 8.
An 8. That's
An
about what I'd
8.
give it. Maybe an 8.
Maybe an 8.5 or a
Maybe an 8
9.
and a half, I was going to say, because this is a great campground. If you like camping, not in a wilderness setting, you're in a campground. But this campground will almost give you the feeling that you're not in a campground.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah.
We today on W. Kerr Scott Reservoir, the Army Corps of Engineers has built parks and campgrounds and stuff all around this lake. The lake was designed and constructed by the Army Corps of Engineers. So they put all these recreation areas around the lake. And there's 2 other campgrounds on W. Kerr Scott Reservoir, and that is Bandit's Roost and Fort Hamby. Hamby, Fort Hamby. And we have reservations to go to Fort Hamby camping
In
in about a month. But today, we went and drove through Bandit's Roost campground. There's 3 Army Corps engineer campgrounds on this reservoir, and Warriors Creek, this one being one. And so we went and drove through. They were kind enough to let us just go do a drive through to look at it, of Bandit's Roost campground. Now, if you like an RV park type setting where the campsites are a little more close and you like conversing with your neighbors, and not that I'm antisocial, but I kind of am in some ways, that's not my thing. When we come camping, we like to have privacy and a spacious campsite with a lot of privacy, a lot of woods, where you can't even really see the next campsite. And they're so far away from one another, you can't even really hear each other people in their campsites in normal conversation. This one has that.
This one does.
This campground is fantastic. Bandit's Roost campground. We didn't stay there, we just drove through it, but it didn't take very long. There was some couple of really nice sites, but the majority of them were not my cup of tea.
They have beautiful lake frontage for a lot of the sites, more so than this one. They have the roped off beach area. But again, I mean, if you're used to RV park type campgrounds, then you would like it.
Yeah, you would probably like it, but
Plus,
we wouldn't.
With me needing to, a little more privacy for working during the day, this just suits us better.
Yes.
This is what we're used to.
Yes, this campground is more compared to a rural Forest Service campground. Bandit's Roost is more likened to an RV park, sort of.
More like a KOA type campground.
Yes. I can't say enough good things about Warrior Creek Campground. First time we've ever been here, and trust me, this will not be our last trip here. This place is fantastic. And the young lady that's been the ranger on duty for our stay, I'm sure they have more than one, she's been phenomenal. As nice of people as you'll ever meet when you check in and come by your campsite. They drive through once or twice a day, and your first day they usually get out and speak to you. Such good customer service. But on top of that, this is the most peaceful campground
In a long time that
we've been to. This is our second camping trip of the summer, and we went 3 weeks ago. Somewhere in that
time frame.
To Moss Lake in Shelby, North Carolina. We went there camping, and that was a disaster.
Now, the boat launch areas and picnic areas for day use are
nice.
Phenomenal.
Very nice. The campground, not so much. The campground was, I think there's like 24 or 25 sites, and they are literally almost stacked on top of one another.
And very discombobulated. You don't know if what's right in front of you is your picnic table or your neighbor's picnic table.
Yeah, that's how close the sites were. We had a neighbor, literally, like here's our fire pit, and their camper or RV or whatever it was would have been literally within 10 feet of our fire pit. And the clientele in that campground. Have you ever heard of Walter White or Jesse Pinkman?
Pinkerton.
If you've ever watched Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. This picture, Walter White, you know, in that first episode where they've wrecked that Class A RV off the bank, and he's out in the middle of the road with a Colt 45.
In his underwear.
In his tidy whities, you know, and he's writing, and you can hear sirens coming in the distance, and he's recording a message to his family. That's about what it was. There was a few campers in that campground that I could have swore Walter White was going to walk out of one of them at any moment. Or Jesse Pinkman. It was not good.
Again, put that aside. Let's just talk about the actual campground.
Yeah.
If you were going to say in sites 20 through 24, you would need about 14 packs of leveling blocks.
Yes. The sites,
not joking.
Yeah, the sites were that bad. The site we had, we backed our camper into it, and literally, I had to let our tongue jack all the way almost to the ground. And the rear of our little camper was probably 4 foot up in the air. Mm-hmm. It was that bad. We had to block the back that bad just to get it level.
Yeah, and the picnic table sat at such an incline you couldn't use it.
Well, the whole campsite was. You couldn't even sit in a chair. The whole campsite was sloped, and you sit in a chair and you couldn't even be comfortable sitting down because it was just every bit sloped. Campsites just stacked one right on top of the other. And virtually, we had a 3-day, 3-night reservation there. We stayed 2, and we left.
On the third morning, it was just so chaotic with the way the campsite was laid out. Like, I literally couldn't even cook on the camp stove because of the way it was tilted. I told Darren, let's go home. I can't help it, let's go home.
Some of the other campers, I don't think you'd call them campers, because I think some of those folks were basically living there. Walked around the campground one afternoon, and the campfire rings in the site that was empty. You walk over and walk into that campsite and look, and the fire pit with ashes and all the way to the top of the fire pit, and the next fire pit absolutely full of beer cans and trash.
Well, when we got to our campsite, I had to take a Walmart bag and fill it up with get some gloves on and fill it up with the trash out of our fire pit. The fire rings did not have grates over them
it's
for
just
cooking.
A culvert cutting sections.
And then the campsite we stayed in, the fire ring was here, and literally like right beside it was this type of grill that you can put charcoal on and cook in, and like there was no way to use that because of the way it was situated.
Right on top of your fire pit.
Yeah, like you couldn't get in between them, reach over your, I don't know.
But anyway, Moss Lake Campground, it has full hookup.
And it's cheap.
Full. It's got water, sewer, power, 30 and 50 amp. And the rates are cheap. They're like
$30 or $35 a night.
Yeah, $30 a night. But if I had to give Moss Lake Campground a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, it'd probably be a -1.
I was going to say, can I give it a negative number?
Yeah, like, it was a -1. We'll never go back to Moss Lake Campground.
No, there are 3, 4, maybe 4 sites along the lake that's kind of like lake frontage that are okay, but everything else about the campground was so questionable.
Yeah, and it's a shame because Moss Lake there and their boat launch ramp area and the playgrounds and the picnic areas are so nice. And that lake is beautiful. But that little campground, and it could be done better if they'd eliminate some of those sites and spread them out and maintain it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Yeah, on to the next subject. This is our last night here, and we've had a great couple of days.
And we will definitely be back as soon as we can find a reservation open. We've got several sites picked out. This one, I'll say what my negatives are about this one. Number one is our Starlink access has been interrupted quite a bit.
Yeah, it's wooded. We're in a pretty heavily wooded campground.
And that's not been the best for work.
Yeah.
However, cell service has been great, so I've been able to use my hotspot. The next thing I would say that for me that would cause me to give it, a less than a 10 is there's 3 main loops, and each loop has a vault toilet.
Yes.
Only.
Yes.
There's 2 shower houses for the entire campground. Now we do have,
and they're centrally located.
Right. We do have, the bathroom in the camper, but for people who don't, or if you're tent camping or whatever, truck camping, it's not convenient. We literally have to drive like a quarter of a mile to a half a mile to get to the bathhouse.
If you want to go to the bathhouse and take a shower, and the bathhouses are dated. They look like they was built in the 80s, and you could tell it by going in them. But they're very clean.
They're very
clean. And if you want to go there to take a shower, for whatever reason, you got to get in your vehicle and drive to it if you're in one of these loops. That's how far away they are.
So those would be my 2 negatives, was that this particular site, as much as I like it, was not as conducive for work as some of the others might be, and then the fact that there's not an actual bathhouse in this loop.
Well, they have the vault toilets in these loops, but there's no electricity in them.
No sink, just
sink,
literally
can't
a
wash
toilet.
your hands, nothing when you're done in there.
No, it's just a vault toilet, no flushable toilet, no nothing.
If you go down there at night, you're going to have to wear a headlamp or something, if someone's camping in something where they don't have their own restroom. So, it is, but there's 2 dump stations here. And this campground is nice.
Yeah, there's 2 playgrounds, really nice playgrounds if you have small
court,
kids. Yeah.
If each loop had its own bathhouse with electricity and bathrooms in them, the bathhouse has toilets and everything else in them too, and power. And if each loop had its own bathhouse, then this place would be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
We're just going to rest the rest of the evening. Really, that's all I've done for 3 days.
I've been pretty relaxed.
I brought a fishing rod with me, and I was going to go do some things, and I've not done anything. I've just enjoyed being lazy in the campsite.
That's the other negative thing I will say, was there was nowhere to hang your hammock.
True, there was no suitable trees.
There's not anywhere to hang the hammock.
In this campsite.
But yeah.
All right.
It's been great.
It has been great.
I've been able to ride the bike. I've read my book a little bit. You get off work and you just come out to this, and I've actually worked outside a couple of times. So nice.
I've taken naps during the day. Man, I've been a lazy bum. I've really enjoyed it.
Several naps.
Yeah.
No.
I've read books. I've sat and read a book and studied Bible and just been lazy. Sit around the campfire drinking coffee.
So just be aware, if you're coming to this campsite, this is your destination. This is not like a layover to go sightsee the town.
Yeah, that's our look at it. That's the way we kind of do it. The destination is not to come park our camper and jump in the truck and be gone all day, shopping and things of that nature. We go camping to relax and get away from it and stay at the campsite. That's what we do.
Yep.
All right. Well, probably no more filming tonight. We're going to enjoy our last evening here at the campsite together, and We're going to have supper and sit around the campfire tonight, maybe make some s'mores. Susan loves s'mores, I don't.
Susan does love s'mores.
Make some s'mores and just enjoy our time together before we leave in the morning. We'll be back with y'all sometime in the morning. Okay, our camping trip is almost over.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. This has been an enjoyable, very enjoyable trip, wouldn't you say?
Very relaxing.
Yeah, we've had a good time, and this has been a great place to camp. We would highly recommend Warrior Creek Campground.
I would definitely be back as soon as we can.
Yeah, this is the most spacious, secluded campsite we've ever had in a campground. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, this is a spot I could spend a couple of weeks, not just a few days. I could spend a couple of weeks
Yeah,
here.
you don't even feel like
easily.
you're in a campground here. It's that private. And we are breaking down camp, unfortunately. Here in a few minutes, we've got to hook up the camper to the truck and then unhook all of our electrical connections and water connections, but we've got about everything else done. So we're going to get everything hooked up and be on the road here shortly, unfortunately. Again, this is Warrior Creek Campground in Boomer, North Carolina, which is just a little small community outside of Wilkesboro, North Carolina, in Wilkes County, North Carolina. And I don't know if I'd call this the mountains, it's more like the foothills.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get into the foothills a little bit.
We're just kind of on that slope down out of the mountains. Down here's the flat, and here's where it starts up. We're just maybe a little bit higher up than foothills, but still not in the mountains. But it's been really nice. It's windy today, so we're going to get everything hooked up, unfortunately, and head out of here in a few minutes. We've had a great time. This has been very relaxing. Good to recharge our batteries to go back home and start back hay farming.
Reality in about 3 hours, just a few hours,
Yeah,
reality's back.
We got a couple hours drive home, and we're going to take our time and enjoy our day, not make a big rush out of it. Thanks for being with us on this camping trip. We've enjoyed it. We got more camping trips planned. We'll be bringing you along with us and more activities at those other ones. This camping trip, we just decided it was so secluded and so peaceful that we just stayed around camp. We didn't really go.
I rode the bike a little.
Yeah, she rode her bike some, and I brought some fishing equipment. I didn't even go. I didn't want to go. It was so peaceful. I just wanted to stay here at camp and read and rest and relax.
I did beat him at ring toss.
Yeah, we played some ring toss. She won. But other than that, it was just kind of this. That's the reason we come camping. We don't come camping to park our stuff at a campsite and then leave all day and go shopping, go do things like that in towns and stuff, and explore towns. We come camping just to camp, to get away from it all.
I mean, we're not ruling that out in the future. There may be a big trip where we
Sure.
decide to take the camper instead of staying in motels. But
Yeah.
camping to us is staying put.
Yeah, we enjoy it. It's we go just to get away from all the hustle and bustle and relax. And if you're all day long shopping and going into shops and tourist traps and things like that, is that really relaxing? It could be to you, but it's not to us. So we just enjoy our time here in nature and campsites and just relax. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. Let's get everything packed up. Come back with us on our next video. We pray God blesses you and your family. And we pray y'all have a fantastic day.